Hello guys, welcome back to Garage Football. Here's our preview for West Ham against Eintracht Frankfurt in the Europa League Semi-Final first leg. This coming Thursday, it's the first leg at the London Stadium. So to talk about Frankfurt's recent form, key player, style of play, and our predictions. I'm joined by James Rowe, who's a journalist based in the Netherlands, who's got very good knowledge of European football, as you would have seen in the Lyon preview in the quarterfinals. So if you are new around here, please subscribe to Garage Football and let us know your predictions for the first leg in the comments below. It'd be great to read those. So, James, thanks again, mate, for joining us. Good to see you again. So, I still can't believe I said that sentences in the intro. West Ham in the Europa League semi-final, which is unreal, mate. But what would you make of this first leg then? I mean, West Ham did well to beat Lyon, but I mean, to be fair, mate, you called it. Frankfurt, they beat Barcelona with a stunning result, 3-2 at the Nou Camp.
Absolutely. I think it's a really intriguing game, Bill. Great to be back as always, and always nice to join you on your channel. And a really intriguing game. I think two teams that have worked so hard to get where they are, and people love to kind of anticipate what's going to happen in European football, and they always forget that in tournament football, but especially European football, there are always surprises. And I think it's a real even matchup, which I don't think will be settled in the first leg. And I think it's great for West Ham, a fantastic story as well. There's so many teams that take European football for granted. And I include my own team in that. I mean, I'm an Arsenal fan of more than 30 years who would often prioritise European games from Amsterdam before COVID struck. And the disdain of Arsenal fans when playing particular opponents was nothing short of disgraceful. So I'm delighted for West Ham that they've really embraced the whole European journey, and they have the just desserts in that respect.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, mate. I think we've took it seriously from the off, and I think we deserve to be where we are. And I totally agree with that. So let's talk about the opponents West Ham have got on Thursday. Obviously, Eintracht Frankfurt in the Bundesliga. Let's talk about their recent form. So, if we're looking at the Bundesliga table, they're in the top half. They're in ninth at the moment. The thing about them, James, I'm sure you know already, that the amount of draws they've had this season has really held them back. They've had obviously 10 wins, but 10 draws and 11 defeats, and that's why they're sort of hover around the sort of mid-table mark. But I mean, I was looking through their results earlier before we start recording, and they had a pretty poor start. I mean, they had a number of draws, but then they get their first win in the Bundesliga. A 2-1 away win away at Bayern Munich of all teams, so which was obviously a stunning result. But I mean, it seemed, and even in their recent form, obviously they beat Barcelona, as I said, but sort of too many draws really has sort of held them back this season.
I think domestically, yes, but in European football, I think they've really been one of the success stories that have gone under the radar in recent years. I mean, I remember when they reached the semi-finals of the Europa League in 2019, when they lost to Chelsea on penalties. If you look at the teams they knocked out, Marseille, Lazio, Shakhtar Donetsk, Inter Milan, Benfica, it's like a who's who of European football. And I've actually won in the San Siro, I believe. And there's just a real good success story in recent years with some very good players and great teamwork. And I think it's great to see a team like that doing well. And it's not all about the big names. I mean, you will remember when West Ham got through and there was talk of West Ham Barcelona before a ball was kicked in any of the quarterfinals. Even football journalists at the BBC writing that the London Stadium will take the roof off for any game against Barcelona. Well, who says they're going to play Barcelona? And I stuck to my guns with that. And I don't advocate betting on any platform, whether that be YouTube or my own. But I must say they were 8-1 to win in Barcelona. And considering Barcelona, they're losing at home to Cadiz, losing at home to Vallecano, I still think that some people are kind of coasting along with the reputation of certain clubs when you really have to look at the teams. And I think that all four teams in the last four have done really, really well to get there. And people often say it's Champions League or nothing, but my team haven't won a European trophy since 1994. We're not in the running this year. And I think West Ham have got a great opportunity. And if they do it, it just goes to show with the story of Fulham all those years ago, as you said, You never know what's around the corner in football, and you think of even with the times West Ham have suffered relegation, and people thought that this is unreal, and to be in a European semi-final is testament to the club, testament to the fans as well. But they've done really well to embrace it.
So I've just been looking at a few of their results, as I say, and a few of their players. Let's touch on a few of their key players. Just looking at the famous win at the Nou Camp, as we've touched on. It was 2 goals for Filip Kostic and a goal from Rafael Borre, the Colombian. And from what I've seen, it seems to be 2 of their star players. Would you go along with that, James?
Well, I think Daishi Kamada is very good. I saw him play against Arsenal, where he scored at the Emirates to turn around the deficit and to beat Arsenal in Emery's last game. And he's a very technically gifted player. I think Filip Kostic, he played for FC Groningen here in the Netherlands for 2 seasons. And people like to malign the Dutch league, but I think Kostic will say that his time at Groningen really helped him. And also Hinteregger, he's a good Austrian centre-half. He's 29 now, but he's still a very, very good defender. And they've got great collective. They're a good team. And the manager as well. I think people are sleeping on their manager. I mean, he managed Lask Linz in Austria that have really come to the fore. And I interviewed a couple of their players, Australian players they had there in the past, and they said about the way that the manager was detailed, Oliver Glasner, and he did really well at Wolfsburg, and now he's doing really well at Frankfurt. So it just goes to show it's not all about the big names. I mean, we see the news breaking with Erik ten Hag signing for Manchester United. There's so many good managers out there, but a more important fact in that respect, Bill, there's so many good managers out of work. And it just goes to show the profession is really cutthroat. But I think Frankfurt's success is very much down to the collective. And they've done really well. And it'd be very interesting to see what happens on Thursday night.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I couldn't really say I recognise any of their players. Obviously, Leon and Sevilla, I could recognise, and I'm sure other fans would be able to recognise a few. But Frankfurt, it's not really the case. I mean, but I think that goes to show, as you've rightly said, the whole is greater than the sum of their parts. I think, and that makes obviously for a dangerous combination. Hence why they're in the semis.
No, absolutely. And if you think of the run they've been on in Europe, they're not no strangers to European games. I mean, as I mentioned, in the season where they only lost on penalties in the Europa League Semi-Final, to knock out the likes of Lazio, Marseille, and then Shakhtar, Inter, and Benfica, it's not easy. And they've done really well. They've got a great stadium as well. It just goes to show that the backroom staff and the way the club is being run is very impressive. And it's good to see different teams vying for European trophies. And it's simply not the case of who's got the most money. It's always about making sure that you have to be clever in your recruitment. And I think the fans of West Ham in particular and Frankfurt, they're not out on social media trying to oust the manager if they get beaten in the league by a lower team opposition. And they're enjoying being where they are, because that's what I try to say to many fans, is that I think people forget how long a football season actually is. I mean, I always say to fans that they've got to enjoy the journey, because you never know when a situation like this is going to come around again, especially for West Ham in Europe. And I think they've been the best team in Europe this season. I know people will talk about Liverpool and Manchester City, but how many years have they been playing Champions League football? They're accustomed to playing Champions League football. I do. I'm not just saying it because we're speaking about West Ham, but I do believe that the best English team in Europe this season has been West Ham United, and hopefully they'll get the full compliments to go all the way and hopefully win the Europa League.
Oh yeah, I think they'll be beyond our wildest dreams, but it's definitely realistic now, mate. Okay, let's talk about the style of play for Frankfurt. Now, as we mentioned, they haven't got the necessarily star players than they maybe had a few years ago, like Luka Jovic and Sebastian Haller, for example. But I mean, as I say, it seems to be the whole seems to be the greatest sum of their parts. And I think judging by how they play, I mean, I think from what I've seen, they seem to play a wing-back system. They seem to play three at the back, but they don't really keeping the ball isn't really their strength. I'm just on the brilliant website Who Scored, who are very good at this kind of thing. And in the Bundesliga, their possession percentage is just under 50%, whereas in the Europa League, it's even lower than that, 46.7. Obviously, possession is an overrated stat, as we all know, but it seems to be they're going to let, by the sound of it, let West Ham have the majority of the ball, especially in this leg coming on Thursday.
Yeah, I do think the second leg will be decisive. I know that might sound a bit cliche, but I think the second leg will be decisive. And, with the system they play as well, 4-3-2-1 to get their wing backs up. Also, in terms of letting the opponent have the ball and being patient as well. I mean, they were very much underestimated against Barcelona. And I think they kind of enjoyed that role. And even when they played Arsenal, when I saw them live in 2019, 4 of those players that played in that game will be involved on Thursday night. And, Arsenal underestimated them. They pummeled them in the first half and then only to go 1-0 up and then lose 2-1 and just underestimating the team. And that's something you can never do. And it's just a great occasion for West Ham, great occasion for Frankfurt as well, because obviously when you think about big German clubs, you think about Bayern Munich, you think about Dortmund, you think about the likes of Hamburg, even though they're in the second division now. But it just goes to show how quickly that things can change in football.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, no doubt about it, mate. And okay, well, thanks for all that, James. So before we finish up, let's get your predictions for the first leg this Thursday. So, what do you think the score's going to be?
1-1.
Yeah. Well, I think. I don't know. I think I fancy West Ham. And in the last couple of first legs, obviously we drew with Lyon and lost narrowly against Sevilla, but I fancy us to change things around and get a win to Germany for the second leg. I think we'll win. I think both teams will score. I'm going to go West Ham 2-1. Actually, I think both teams seem to be pretty strong. Well, West Ham definitely are strong from set piece, and I think Frankfurt, by the look of things, are as well. So it could come down to the quality of the balls in the box from corners and free kicks, eh?
Absolutely, and congratulations to yourself, Bill, for attending every home game in the Europa League with West Ham this year. I think it's a great achievement. It's a great achievement as well, and those memories will last a lifetime. They really are priceless. As I touched before we went on live, before I moved to the Netherlands, I attended back in the day when you had 2 Champions League group stages. There was the first group phase and the second group phase, and a total of 12 games, and I attended 7 of them, 6 of them, all 6 home games against Auxerre, Dortmund, PSV, and then the second group phase of Valencia, Roma, and Ajax, and also the away game in Amsterdam. And it's even though we're 19 years on, those memories are absolutely priceless, because you can't go back in a time capsule and relive what it was like. When you open up your program and all your memories come flooding back, it's a very, very special feeling that will be as strong for you now as it will be in 5 years' time when you reflect on it. So I tip my hat and say very well done. And I think it's a great achievement. So very well done, Bill.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think kudos to the fans who've been to every away game. I'm sure they've been a lucky few that so fair play to them. So hopefully more memories, as you say, in the first leg come this Thursday. So James, thanks a lot, mate. Really appreciate your time again. Thanks very much. So thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe to Cash Football if you're new, and let us know your predictions for the first leg in the comments below. Great to read those. We'll see you next time. All the best. Take care.